You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast. This is the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me at official Sam Little on Instagram. There's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast. Thank you for coming over from part 2. If you did, if not, go check it out. It is up on this channel right here. You can listen to number 1 of my 2-part series for the Euro predictions. And I'm not going to waste any time. Let's just hop right into these predictions. We have 3 more groups to do and a few more predictions to make. So Group D is Poland, Netherlands, Austria, and France. Pretty good group, I would say, and 2 of them just play Canada in a friendly, so shout out. But yeah, starting with Poland, beginning with it feels like Poland are often perennial underachievers when it comes to these international tournaments, but maybe this time it is the one. I'm not sure, but in goal, I think we'll see Szczesny again. He's been the number 1 for years now, and I'm not really sure anyone's challenging him at this point. The Juve man is still class and apparently has some teams interested in him. So we'll see how that pans out following the Euros. The defense looks not to be the strongest. They're missing out on their first choice left back, Matty Cash, who's out injured, and I think he will be a huge miss as he offers so much at both ends of the pitch, both attacking. He's got a great ball on him, and both defensively, I think he's actually a pretty good one-on-one defender. So I think he'll definitely be missed. The rest of the defense is decent, nothing superb. The midfield is a healthy mix of older guys and younger guys. Roman Zelwiski is one to watch in the midfield, where Zelitsky of Napoli could be vital as well, where we also have Goritsky. Has always been a baller, and he always turns up, so he is getting long in the tooth now, but class is class, and I think he still has something to offer this team. In attack, Piatek is going to look to rekindle some of that form that he had just a few years ago, when he was showing some of the big clubs why they wanted him. Obviously, it hasn't panned out that way, but he's definitely going to try to run it back. And then they have some guy named Robert Lewandowski. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. I don't know. You might have. I don't know. He's pretty niche. So with that being said, player to watch is, of course, Robert Lewandowski. The former Bayern man is coming off of another strong season with Barca. Despite being 35, he's still scoring for fun. And like so many in this tournament, it feels like it's going to be his swan song, and you know that he's going to want to do his country proud, being the captain. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn on Lewandowski because he doesn't have the best team around him, all due respect. But sometimes I do find at this international level, his performances leave you wanting more. So maybe given that this will probably be his last time at a major tournament, maybe he might not. He may hang on for the next World Cup and potentially even next Euro. But I think he's going to want to have a strong showing. Looking at the Netherlands, who just thrashed Canada 4-0. Thanks, guys. Looking at them, I'm not going to look at them. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm going to look at them. A team that always seems to shoot themselves in the foot in the big moment. They're the Tottenham of the national teams. They get there, but then they always kind of just shoot themselves in the foot. So, yeah, I'm still bitter about the 4-0 loss. But all jokes aside, goalkeepers are looking good, but it's the defense where they look strongest. Ian Maatsen just got a call up following some injuries in the Dutch camp. De Ligt, Ake, De Vrij, Van de Ven, Blint, Dumfries, and Captain Van Dijk are all great. De Ligt hasn't hit the heights that were once promised, but is still a solid defender. Ake, Blint, and Dumfries offer you a bit something different, whereas De Vrij is just a solid center back. Van de Ven is rapid, and they're going to definitely use him to exploit some back lines, whereas Van Dijk is Van Dijk. Do they even need a goalkeeper with some of the guys I just named? I'm not sure they do. The midfield also looks a little light with no Frankie de Jong. Gini Wijnaldum and Gravenberch could be vital for them, though, and could be time for Gravenberch to step up, show the quality player that he is, and in the absence of Frankie de Jong. So I'll be interested to see how he's used, if he's used, and how consistently he's used in this tournament. And then up front is their star-studded attack. For Pong, the right back looks like he'll be playing right wing. Memphis Depay is hunting down that record goal-scoring spot for the Dutch. Gakpo, Malin, Weghorst, and Simmons are all capable of something special. Simmons, especially being the young guy, he's going to want to really make an impression. Whereas Weghorst nearly knocked out Argentina in the World Cup. And Gakpo and Malin are just solid players, so you'll expect something good from them both. Player to watch is, of course, Virgil van Dijk. If he's on his game, he'll elevate the rest of that fantastic defense. He'll be looking to be on his A game, so he'll be crucial to their success in the tournament. He is one of the best center backs in Europe and has been for a few years. I do think this season was up and down for him, but class is class, as I have said. He's just that good. He can turn it on, and I think that he's going to be super hungry for this trophy, and as he should be. So be interested to see what the Netherlands will do. Moving on is Austria, been dealt a tough blow without their star player Alaba, and I think they're going to really struggle without him. They have some solid goalkeepers between the sticks. The defense does look a little lacking without Alaba. They're bringing a good few guys under 23, so it'll be good to see some young blood running out there. The midfield looks pretty good with two clear standouts, Leimer and Sabitzer. Bayern's man Leimer is a great option in the middle. He looks pretty assured on the ball, and I mean, he's playing for Bayern Munich, so obviously he's got maybe just a little bit of talent, maybe. And Sabitzer is coming off of a pretty good season with Dortmund, and obviously that Champions League final. I think that he's an exciting player, and I think he's going to offer something, and I think he, in my opinion, will probably be their star player with no Alaba. So I think he's going to have to really, really shine, is what I'm trying to say. And in attack is Marko Arnautovic, coming off a league title win with Inter Milan. Once again, one of the players that's kind of getting up there in years. He's 35 years old, but he can still have something to add to this team, and they're going to need someone to score goals, and I think it's probably going to be him. The player to watch is Sabitzer. He's going to have a lot to do in that midfield, but he is a quality player. Good season with Dortmund, and it has been good for Austria in the past and throughout these qualifying rounds. And finally, France. What is there to say about France that hasn't already been said about France? They just are that good, aren't they? They've got such a strong squad. So is there even really a weak spot? No, there's not. Magnan is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and this will be his first international tournament as the number one following Hugo Lloris's international retirement. This defense also looks good. Upamecano, Konate, Mendy, and Theo Hernandez. They are missing his brother Lucas Hernandez through injury, but still, I think they're good. Theo Hernandez is one of the best left backs in the world. Konate and Upamecano, I think, make a good center back pairing, and Mendy is a very good left back as well if they don't want to use Theo Hernandez. Pavard as right back, Kunde as right back. They've got options. All pretty class too. Like, come on. This isn't fair, guys. How do you have so many good players? But then we move into their midfield where, yeah, I think it's pretty lacking there too. He said, full of sarcasm. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Kanté, Zeri Emery, and the always class Griezmann. I mean, that's the midfield dreams are made of. Kanté back into the fold for the first time since 2022, and judging by his performances in the friendlies, he still has that class about him. Camavinga and Tchouaméni are two great young midfielders playing for Real Madrid. Tchouaméni had a great World Cup. Camavinga had a great season. Tchouaméni also had a great season too. But, yeah. And Antoine Griezmann, who, in my opinion, was probably one of the top 5 performers in all leagues last season. Well, this season that just passed, sorry. He was phenomenal for Atletico Madrid rolling back the years still. He's getting up there in age now. 33, I think, off the top of my head. 33, I believe. But he's not slowing down, it doesn't look like. He still has that final ball on him, that finishing prowess. And he's kind of evolved his defensive work rate too. He's just an all-around player. And yeah, he's one of my favorite players of all time. So I'm a little biased, of course, but he's phenomenal. And moving into the attack once again, pick your all-star. Giroud is retiring from international after this tournament. He's going to be moving to LAFC in the MLS. Dembele, Coman, Koulibaly, and Thurman are all class. Coman and Dembele are tricky little wingers, and Koulibaly and Thuram are great options as center forwards if they're not going to start Giroud. But there's also this guy called Kylian Mbappe who's pretty good. I don't know, maybe you've heard of him. Even people that don't watch football have heard of Kylian Mbappe. So I would hope that you've heard of him. But yeah, no, he's pretty good. He'll be looking to add a European championship to his locker before heading off to Real Madrid, where he'll get more European titles, but of the Champions League variety. And a player to watch, once again, take your pick, but it's got to be Mbappe. He's the best player in the world and is on a whole other level. One of the best performers at the World Cup in 2022 and 2018. He'll be crucial to France after a nightmare Euro 2020. I think he's going to try to right those wrongs, and I think he probably will. But another player to watch is, of course, Antoine Griezmann. I've spoken in depth about him. But yeah, just any player on France, watch them. just watch them. You know, don't miss a France game is what I'm telling you. So with all that being said, that's the 4 teams. Rank them now. I'm going to go France number 1. I think they're going to get through this group. France, and then Netherlands number 2. Poland as a best third finish, so I think we'll see Poland in the knockouts. And then 4th is Austria. Moving into Group E, you have Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and the Ukraine. Actually a pretty evenly matched group, I think. So first we're going to go with Belgium, most definitely the weakest Belgium side in a while. No Courtois, no Hazard brothers, no Alderweireld. And I think all of them will be a miss in their own way following that disastrous World Cup in 2022. The side will be looking to bounce back, but I'm just not sure they have it in them. They couldn't do it when a lot of their star players were in their prime. So I don't really think that we're going to see that Belgium trophy lift. But yeah, I'm just not sure they have it. In between the sticks, they don't have anyone that is on Courtois' level. It's head-scratching that they didn't bring him. I understand he was out injured all season, but if he's good enough to start a Champions League final for Real Madrid, I believe he's probably good enough to start the Euros. But hey, I'm not the guy making those choices. Their defense looks decent, but nothing spectacular. They have 37-year-old Jan Vertonghen, Meunier, Castagna. Once again, just not a defense that fills you with great confidence, in my opinion. Meunier is hot and cold, Castagna same, and Jan Vertonghen is getting pretty long in the tooth as he is 37. I think any attacking player with any little bit of pace on them is going to have a field day against this defense. It'll just require some finishing touch, in my opinion. In the midfield, the always reliable Axel Witsel is still kicking around. Kevin De Bruyne, Trossard, and Tielemans, which is definitely solid. So I think it's probably their strongest positioning. Kevin De Bruyne is, of course, a great player. And Axel Witsel, like I said, he's always reliable. He's so good in the center of that park. Still playing at top level. And then you have Tielemans, who is pretty wishy-washy, I find. He'll either be the best player on the pitch or you won't even know he's on. So you're going to hope that he's on it. And Trossard seems to just crop up with a big goal in a big moment. He did it a few times this past season for Arsenal, so maybe he's going to do the same for Belgium. And then up front, there are really 3 big game changers. I would go Yannick Carrasco, Jeremy Doku, and Romelu Lukaku. Yannick Carrasco, he's always been a good player, but once again, just kind of he's getting up there. He's 30 now. He's not as good as he was. He's not that exciting like winger that he used to be. Oh, man, I don't know. It kind of sucks, right? Like Belgium used to be one of the most exciting teams for a good few major tournaments. And then you look at Jeremy Doku, who I think can change a game, if the circumstances are right. And you have Romelu Lukaku, who, if he feels like playing well, he can play well, but he can also cost you, as he did in the World Cup, I found, as he did with Inter Milan in the Champions League final, as he did with Chelsea when he joined them, as he did with Manchester United. So yeah, he's class when he wants to be, but when he doesn't want to be, he's more of a liability than anything. But so you're gonna hope that he actually wants to show up. I do think they will have enough to get out of this group, but I actually think it'll be more challenging than some people think. My player to watch is Kevin De Bruyne. He never really shows up internationally, and kind of like some other of his City teammates, when they're away from that City and Pep style, they kind of look lost. And last tournament in the World Cup was his time to step up, and he didn't. He just didn't look up for it. And honestly, without Eden Hazard to carry him, I'm not really sure he's got it in him. And yes, I did have to add that because Hazard is the Belgian player, and I don't want to hear it. Sorry. I see these debates all the time. I don't want to hear it. It's Hazard. Of course, he is retired, although he would still be starting if he was not retired. But my love for Eden Hazard knows no bounds. So next, we have Slovakia, a team of people I'm not super familiar with, but some of the ones I am are very good. Martin Dubravka is always reliable. Their defense has one star man in Milan Skriniar, who is world-class in my opinion, spent years at Inter and is now balling for PSG. I think he's a great player, and I think that he's going to need to show it at this tournament. And then you look in the midfield, they got Duda, and in the attack is filled with guys under 30. So once again, they'll be eager to make that impression. Maybe bag some goals too. But the player to watch is most definitely Skriniar. He's their best player, and big things will be expected from the back. And I do think he'll have his work cut out for him. But yeah, just a very good defender, good center back, good modern day center back. I find good on the ball, has a great slide tackle on him, is great one-on-one. So, yeah, Milan Skriniar, my player to watch for Slovakia. And moving into Romania, once again, I'm not super familiar with the members of this squad. I hope they do really well, and I hope Romanians have a great time supporting their country. I am really sorry. I can't pretend to know their players, but I do hope they pull off a few upsets. That'd be really cool. Then, last but not least, you look at Ukraine. Has quietly assembled a really good team going into this, and I could see them overachieving. In goal, I think it has to be Lunin from Real Madrid. He filled in greatly for Thibaut Courtois this season. And then obviously once Courtois came back, Lunin resumed his being the second choice, but still, I think he had a really good season, helped Real Madrid get to that final of the Champions League. Of course, he didn't play the final, but he was crucial in the run-up. And then you look at what he did in La Liga, once again, really helping them to that league title. So, yeah, just he's a very good goalkeeper. And I would like to see him potentially leave Real Madrid and get some regular minutes elsewhere, but that's just me. And then, you look at their defense and you see there's Zinchenko, who I doubt will play in the as a defender. I think he'll probably slot into that midfield role that he usually does for the Ukraine. I do know he plays left back for Arsenal and did for City, but he is a midfielder at heart. I think that that's where he will be playing. I could be wrong if they're going to change it up this tournament, but I know last time out he played in the center of the park, so I don't expect much different. But they also have Mikolenko of Everton, who is a good quality left back, and I think he can do the job. So, and then you move into their midfield. You got Yarmolenko, who's still capable of quality moments, Sudakov is also one to keep an eye on. He's a young guy. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a big money move from him after this tournament. He's 21, plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. Donetsk. He plays for them. And yeah, he's a good player. He's young. He'll be hungry. He's got that. He's just a proper midfielder, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. And like I said, Yarmolenko, yes, once again, one of these players is getting a little bit old, getting a little bit up there, but I mean, most definitely still has stuff to offer this side. He's a great player. Class doesn't go away. Then there's Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk, who I touched upon in part 1 when I was talking about players that could potentially win Young Player of the Tournament. I think he's going to be eager to make a great impression, and I am going to go for my player to watch is Mykhailo Mudryk. He's entering this tournament with a point to prove. He's going to want to perform well just to prove everyone wrong and to why Chelsea wanted to sign him. There is a top-class player in there. I have no doubts about it. It's just a matter of time until he gets unlocked. And I think that this tournament is the time for him to really show that. I'm a big fan of him. He's got the pace. He's got the swagger. He's got the skill. He's got the vision. Just sometimes he's just lacking in the decision-making department. And I'll be interested to see what he can do on this big stage, and I really, 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 really do hope that he performs. Like I said, I think there is a very good player in there, and I would love to see him do really well. So moving into the rankings for this, at first, I'm going to go Belgium. I think they do make it out of this group, unlike in the World Cup. Number 2, Ukraine. 3, Slovakia. And no, I don't think they're going to get a best third place finish. I've used up the 4 already on actually, ironically, the first 4 groups. So Slovakia won't get that, and I'm going to say Romania in last.
Hello, yes, welcome to another intermission. Similar to what I did in part 1, I'm going to lay out a couple of more specific predictions I have. So I'm going to try to guess the team of the tournament, which I think is just going to be a really fun exercise to kind of see how well I can do, compare it to what actually happens in the end at the tournament. And then player of the tournament and winners of the tournament. So, goalkeeper for team of the tournament is Mike Maignan of France. I predicted him to be the goalkeeper of the tournament in the last episode, so for him to not be in the team of the tournament would be a bit silly. Defense, I'm going to go Federico DiMarco, Joshua Kimmich, and Upamecano and Antonio Rudiger. I think big tournaments for each of them. And yeah, I see France and Germany going pretty far, so there's a few players from each of them in here. My midfield is extremely unbalanced, but it's a team of the tournament, so who really cares? Antoine Griezmann, Florian Wirtz, and Cole Palmer. Yes, I have to add that little Chelsea bias, and I'm not even sure he's going to play a huge role for England at this tournament because you never know what you're going to get with Southgate. But we'll see. And Florian Wirtz, like I said, I predicted him last episode to be the young player of the tournament, so obviously he's going to be in here. And then Antoine Griezmann, I'm a huge fan. I think he's got a few good years still left in him, and I think that he's going to show that here at this Euros. In the attack, once again, super unbalanced, but I'm going to go Mykhailo Mudryk, once again, totally biased. Dusan Vlahovic, because I have predicted him to win the Golden Boot, and Harry Kane. So, yeah, pretty unconventional front 3 with 2 strikers and a winger, but once again, who cares? It's the team of the tournament. They don't follow the rules anyways. So, yeah, Harry Kane, I think, will have a big tournament. Mykhailo Mudryk, same there. And Vlahovic, once again, I'm just going with that gut feeling. I just feel like he's going to do something, guys. My player of the tournament actually comes down to Antoine Griezmann. He won it in 2016 when he was unreal for France, and I think he's going to run it back, and he's going to do the same this time out. Like I said, I think France and Germany are going to be going far, so that's why I've kind of got 2 of their players winning these individual awards. And so winners, no surprise here, is between Germany and France. I could see either one of them taking this. Obviously, having not seen either of them play in the tournament just yet, as it hasn't started, we don't really know. Everyone's a favorite until they're not, or everyone's an underdog until they're not, or everyone's counted out until they're not. But So I can't choose two. Okay, so I'm just gonna say why I think both of these teams. So France is the odds-on favorite. Of course they are. Look at their team; it's unreal. It's stacked. My only thing that's holding France back is when does the odds-on favorite always ever win? It doesn't often happen, which is why I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. And then looking at Germany, the host nation, they look better than they have in a long time. I think it's going to really motivate them. Toni Kroos in particular, I think is going to have his Zinedine Zidane esque tournament for how Zidane did for France back when he was retiring. I think Toni Kroos is going to kind of do the same thing. He's just going to be like, yeah, I'm still that guy and I'm retiring on my own terms. So that's kind of my thought process behind this. And then I am going to say France as the winner. I know, kind of boring, but I do think it will be them. But thank you for listening to this intermission. Now back to your regularly scheduled Maple Footy podcast.
Now moving into our final group. We did it, guys. We're on the final one. Thank you for listening. So Group E consists of Turkey, Georgia, Czech Republic, and of course 2016 champs Portugal. So looking at Turkey first, they're coming into this tournament not in the best form, winless in their last 5 leading up to the tournament. 2 of those were draws. Their squad doesn't look the strongest either. Their goalkeepers are solid enough choices. Their defense doesn't look great with Zeki Klik of Roma. He's a solid choice at the back. In the midfield is Inter's Hakan Çalhanoğlu. He's in the team, definitely the most talented player in the team, one of the best midfielders in the Serie A last season. Özkan of Dortmund is always quality. They're also bringing Madrid wonder kid Arda Güler, and this will be a great time for him to showcase his talent, maybe get a loan move away from Real to get some regular playing minutes. I think that would benefit him greatly. Definitely a top quality player in there, and I think he'll be given the outlet to show it at this tournament. And yeah, like I said, maybe get a loan move away from Real Madrid for a season, see what he can do. Player to watch is, of course, most definitely Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Coming off a title-winning season where he was instrumental. He's one of the best playmakers in that league, the Serie A, and was nominated for midfielder of the season. Yeah, he is very good. He's been around for a while now. He knows what's required of him. He knows that he is probably the best player in this team. He knows that a lot of what Turkey does is kind of riding on him too. I do rate him very highly. Like I said, one of the best midfielders in the Serie A, one of the best playmakers probably in Europe, you could say. So definitely going to be looking out for him, see what he can do. Georgia is similar to some teams I've already mentioned. I obviously don't know a ton about them. It's their first ever major tournament, and I'd love to see them do really well, although much like Romania, I don't really know many other players. Although Kvaratskhelia, have an eye on him. The Napoli man is top class and will look to show it. He's an exciting winger. He's tricky. He's got that finishing touch on him, whether it's to create a goal or to score one. He can dance through defenders. He's very good. Obviously, he was won the league with Napoli in the past, so he's got that winning mentality, and is definitely Georgia's star man. Moving into Czech Republic, a team that I feel could cause an upset or two. They went to the quarterfinals in 2020, and it will be great to see them go far again. They got steady hands in net. Of course, they're no Petr Cech. Shout out Petr. In the defense, Kufal has always been a solid right back, and he's probably the team's most experienced defender. He's come off another season with West Ham. He's just one of those guys that kind of goes under the radar, but he is very good. He's got a good cross on him, and I think his defensive attributes are his strong suit. Of course, he is a defender, so you would hope that that's the case. But for some of them, it isn't. But for him, it is. So I'll be looking forward to see what he can do. He had a good Euros last time out. And like I said, another pretty solid season with West Ham. In the midfield, his club teammate Thomas Souček and Fiorentina's Barak will be vital. Thomas Souček, once again, coming off the season with West Ham. He is solid. He's kind of got that old school midfielder mentality about him of he's going to win the ball. He's going to make sure it doesn't get to the defense, but he also links the defense and the attack really well. So keep an eye out for him. And up top is Patrick Schick. He's going to look to do what he did last time out and be the competition's top goal scorer. And I think he is the player to watch for Czech Republic. Got 5 goals last time out, truly announcing himself to the world. He's coming off of that invincible season with Bayer Leverkusen, so big things to be expected from him. He's going to be the main man this tournament, whereas at Bayer Leverkusen, he wasn't always that this season, but now's the time he's going to get to shine again, and it'll be interesting to see if he can rekindle that 2020 Euros magic. And finishing off everything is Portugal, the 2016 champions. A team that always seemed to fly under the radar despite having one of the best squads at this tournament. In goal, they're kind of spoiled for choice with Jose Sá, Rui Patricio, and Diogo Costa. Not Diego Costa, the Spanish striker. Diogo Costa, the Portuguese goalkeeper. In defense, Pepe is still a crucial part of this team despite being 41. Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes, Nelson Semedo, and João Cancelo are all top quality. Ruben Diaz is definitely one to kind of look out for, as he isn't getting the same love that he got back in his debut season with Manchester City, but he is still very quality. In the midfield is pretty stacked too. City's Silva and United captain Bruno Fernandes are the headline makers for sure, of the midfield that is. Then you also have Ruben Neves, Matheus Nunes, and Pedro Neto, João Paulinho. They're all top class, and they all offer you a bit something different. Pedro Neto is more attacking, whereas Ruben Neves and João Paulinho will more so sit deep. And their attack is also exciting, star-studded, of course. The main man, Cristiano Ronaldo, is back again. Then you have guys like Jota, Leao, Felix, and Ramos, who can score and create. I'm really excited to see what Leao can do. I love him. He's a great player. Had another great season with AC Milan, so it'll be very interesting to see what he can do on the big stage. And a player to watch, yes, of course, is CR7, the man himself, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not the player he once was, if we're being honest, but you just know he still has a moment or two in him. He can still score goals, and his awareness in the box, even at this age, is second to none. Yes, everybody will always go, oh, he scored tap-ins. Yeah, but he gets there. He's always in and around that penalty box area, always ready to pounce, always ready to take on an opportunity. He is still very good and has something to offer. He definitely will have his say at some point in this tournament. I would bet money on it. He looks to add another European championship to his locker. So our final ranking, we're going to go first is Portugal, second is Czech, third I'm actually going to go Georgia. I think they may upset someone here. And then in fourth, we're going to go Turkey. So that concludes this 2-part Euro 2024 predictions that the Maple Footy podcast has held. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing it, and we'll see how I do. Hopefully pretty good. Hopefully my ball knowledge doesn't get totally exposed and like I've just predicted this whole thing wrong. But yeah, we'll see how I do. Let me know your predictions either here or DM me at @officialsamlittle on Instagram. I hope it's a good tournament. I hope it's a great tournament. I'll be doing coverage after every round of games, so once every team is played, I'll cover them. And until then, that was your Maple Footy podcast. Thank you for listening. Cheers, everyone.